And so now let's talk about the biggest opportunity we mentioned at the beginning. And this happens to be search, and it's pretty consistent for all sort of like sub-verticals of e-commerce. And we see here that, in the UK, 46% of traffic for e-commerce or for shopping sites comes from search. So the first thing you want to look at is how competitive is the market. And this is data that Similarweb gives you like an instant view. It's really like eye-opening. Like when I first came here, this sort of like ability to understand the market in an instant is unprecedented. And we can see, okay, what percentage of traffic for the industry comes from paid? This is a very good indicator if you benchmark against other industries about how much you're going to have to pay for keywords. How much should you invest and plan on investing in terms of paid traffic? It'll also give you a value to how, give you an estimate to how valuable organic traffic is to the industry as well. And the other thing is how important is alternative search to the industry. So typically people 98% of the time go to regular search. And we see that 1.5% of the time people are actually looking at image search and shopping searches in very, very minuscule amounts. But actually, if we think about 1.5%, that means 1 in 100 customers or potential customers is looking at image search and ending up at a result that drives them to an e-commerce site, which means that's a pretty high amount compared to other industries. It means that there are opportunities, within Google to start focusing on other types of search based off of what people are searching for. And what I mean by this is that, in the fashion industry and in the clothing industry, the way things look is such a critical element to what you're selling that being on image search should be a high priority for any company, selling clothing or selling fashion. We can understand the level of competition. So we see that ASOS, being the sort of monster in the UK, is number 1 in total search traffic, which is based off its strong position in organic traffic. It's also based off the massive amount of traffic that it's spending on paid search. And the other thing we see is like 10%. It's a mind-boggling number. 10% of all paid search traffic in the clothing industry in the UK is going to ASOS. They're spending a massive amount, which means that they're pushing up that top bid to quite a high level. What it means is that there's opportunities to be in number 2 and number 3 because we see that then the market gets less and less diversified. And there is room to enter. We see Foot Locker pushing in on shoes, and we see Zalando here, which doesn't appear in the top 10 for organic search, is making it a very aggressive push into paid search. And we can start to look and see, what is Zalando doing? What are their campaigns doing? Where are they interested in pushing? What's worthwhile for them to invest in and build a competitive strategy around that? Across different channels, we can see that, okay, so ASOS, number 1 in search, number 1 in referral traffic starting on the left, number 1 in social traffic too. Basically, they're number 1 in traffic. But we see some other very interesting things too, such as Teespring or Twinkle Deals, which is able to build a whole business around just social traffic. They're never going to be able to out ASOS like in the search market, but what they are able to do is become like a massive provider of T-shirts and T-shirt campaigns through social traffic. And there's all of these opportunities that are available to you when you can start understanding, what is the layout of the market. In the clothing industry, we see the number 3 player there doesn't appear in any of the lists either, and it's a very good indicator that, like, okay, maybe I can buy cheaper display traffic and sort of buy my way in and build my brand through display traffic. Next one over is direct traffic, and direct traffic is really a good indicator of how strong a brand is. That means people know this brand, they're typing ASOS.com direct into the browser, which is why we call it direct, and we can see that, even 10% of that traffic is going to ASOS. So we can see there's some very strong brands within the fashion industry, which makes sense. People typically don't do like price comparison with clothing. They tend to go to the brands they want because your clothes are a reflection of you, and therefore you want to associate with the brand. And with email traffic, we can also see, okay, what percentage of email traffic is coming to them, and we can see that, ASOS is actually doing a very good job, and Next as well, in terms of being able to turn their users and their lead lists into returning traffic.